And
Let's
clearly
give the people what they want.
Give the people what they want, but also my face is not so not so close. Not so close.
You can go on my face, Sheree, no
yeah,
problem.
yeah. I'm much further, but look at this. This is where I normally sit, different location. So listen, like there's so many things that I want to like touch on. So I just thought we'll just freewheel like I live my life. We will just freewheel.
Yeah.
And however, so I must share this because we can have a conversation and go off. So I recorded a video today that I probably won't share until Monday, actually, because I don't want it to get lost in like the weekend stuff. But basically, I recorded it twice. First time, I was so annoyed that I just thought, Sheree, this whole video of you ranting. So I thought, let me record the second time. And I did really well. And then 5 minutes in, it's basically like the same as the first video that I recorded. I just thought, oh, fuck it. I'm just going to carry on. So I tell you, so all of this time that I've been talking about this, I have been saying to businesses, like the burden is no longer on Black people to help you understand, to help you fix, to help you. Because do you know what? Guess what? Like, we haven't been helped in all these years. Do you know what I mean? And this stuff, you know, as my friend Sanchez says, Leanne knows I love this phrase, ignorance is 2020 is no excuse because Google is free. Been quoting him left, right and centre. I tweeted him today and he was like, oh my God. I was like, I love it so much. I've been quoting him all over the place. Every interview I do, I'm like, let me quote Sanchez Payne. I'm going to quote him. But because the point that I'm making is there is so much stuff out there that, you know, there's so many people who've written about this. Like, do your work, just do some work and show that you're willing to do some work, right? So anyway, so you know I've had a bee in my bonnet.
I'm so jaded by this, you know, it's so unsurprising, and it just shocks me that there's this level of ignorance that they don't understand what they're doing wrong. And the funny thing is, I actually think they don't get what they're doing wrong in taking that approach. You know, and it's so I just think it's so burdensome for the Black employee, because now if something goes wrong as a result of that statement, it's all on you. So suddenly you are their solution and you are the problem and you're going to take the flak. Like, it's way too much on top of everything else that you're having to experience and have experienced to now have to bear this burden as well. And I just think such businesses are just, like, you can't cash them out. The problem is you can have all the equality legislation in the world, but you don't know about this because a lot of those Black employees, by mere fact that they are alone and a minority in number, they're not going to be brave enough to speak up because they don't have that privilege. They don't have that, you know, they can't risk their jobs for speaking up, even if they feel completely hard done by that situation. And you know, how could you blame them?
And I think the other point is that, as you said, Sabah, there's a gun being held to their head, which basically says you need to provide us with the solution, but make sure it's in agreement with all the things we've said we've been doing. Because if all these companies have had a D&I movement, quote unquote, this whole time, if this Black employee now comes up with an idea that is so left field, basically the employer's gone, you guys are crap. They're not allowed to say that either. Yeah. And the other point is they won't have had the time to digest this, to even really know what you need. This is all coming up. Imagine for the first time you feel like, you know, you're a prisoner coming up to release. You don't know what life on the outside is like. You don't know how you're going to live. You don't know how it's going to be. So then someone's almost saying to you, well, tell me what you need. And you're like, well, I haven't even got there yet. I don't know. I'm on the cusp of something, but I don't know what that looks like. And as you said, then the bearer burden is on this one employee to then say, I've made all these decisions for all the future Black people. And the company says, well, if it doesn't work, sorry, we gave you guys a chance. Yeah. We gave you guys a voice, and you messed it up.
And the company would say, you know, we tried. Look, we did this. We tried to give them a voice. But it's like, I think what companies don't understand is you can't just suddenly come out of the blue and give me a voice. We have to have a contract of trust, you know, psychological and employment trust. We have to be able to trust each other for me to open up parts of my opinion and level with you, because I've never been allowed to do that before. You know, I live in an environment, for example, as a Black employee or even a brown employee, that, you know, we're surrounded with microaggressional states all the time. Again, things you can't prove, things don't often get captured on camera. So, you know, you're experiencing gaslighting, you're experiencing isolation, you're experiencing mental health issues because, you know, you're isolated and you're the only one of your kind in a lot of companies. And you're having to play the middle line a lot to protect yourself, to protect your job, to you know, and you're being seen as a representative of everybody that else that looks and seems and appears like you. That is a huge burden to carry. You know, and people don't draw the parallels. Like, people don't draw the parallels with you know, white people getting offended for being called white, or white fragility. Like, draw the parallel. You feel offended by the slightest you know, suggestion that something was wrong in terms of how your ancestors may have behaved, for example. Like, that's just talking about facts, and people get offended. Like, imagine talking about a reality nobody else understands.
Oh,
Sabah, and then being put on the spot to give a solution for that reality, and you have no power to influence what happens as a result of the solution. Like, you have zero power to influence action. It's absolutely unfair, and it's just so wrong. But again, when you've got an extremely white space that doesn't understand lived experiences and is just reacting for the first time, they're going to get a lot of things wrong, because again, they're not willing to hire Black expertise, Black people, Black experts in D&I to come in and guide them. They don't want to give the money away, you know. And this is the thing that challenges me the most. Like, we're expected to do all this stuff for free.
Oh my goodness. And the thing is,
and I think,
you go, Leanne.
No, I was just going to say, and it's not even just, well, it's also that, as you said, Sabah, but it's this time factor. You're under pressure. These companies want a smooth transition. They want it to be, hey, I've released a statement. Hey, I'm changing my branding. Hey. But they haven't really embedded in that there is going to be a pain period and a pain process to get this right. There isn't a quick fix. There isn't an overnight, hey, we've gone and we've done this. No, as you said, you need to get behind the curtain. You need to understand how this particular individual ticks. You have to understand what the cultural backdrop is. You have to understand that the Black Caribbean British experience is different to the Black African experience. You have to put yourself in that situation to understand all those things and expect to get it wrong. Don't expect to get it right. Nobody's saying to you, the Black community isn't saying, we expect you to change, we expect you to get it right now. But what we're saying is, do your part, do your research, and understand that me as an individual, I can't solve all your problems. I can't make this right for you.
Absolutely. Listen, absolutely. And this is why, you know what, and everyone says to me, oh my God, you're coming so hard. I'm like, oh my God, listen, if you want to see me come hard, like,
this is
people, listen, I can come a whole lot harder. Like, this is me, like, trying to get it together. But this is why I keep saying, like, these leaders, you have to do the work. You have to do the work. And this is why I get people go, oh God. And I said, no, because not everybody's getting the memo. Everyone is not getting the memo. Because when I'm hearing these stories that are saying, you know, because what's happening is people are now messaging me going, you know, my business has asked you, I get it on both sides, right? So I get, you know, white people or non-Black people going, you know, I want to do like, you know, where would you advise that I start, or whatever else it is. And to be honest, I'm like, listen, I'm giving you all this information for free every single day. I'm dropping knowledge bombs on you all day, every day, in the most realist way. And it's not because I'm expecting you to, like, go, because Shireen said, go off. All I'm doing is giving you context, right? So the stuff that we are talking about is context, because I don't see anybody else giving context. Or when they do, there's people posting and writing stuff, but it's like, I call it Twitter fingers. I'm not saying that what they're saying is not right, but it's not necessarily helpful, because it's all garnered around somebody giving it a like, a heart, or a insightful, or a, you know. You know what I mean? That's the one. I forgot there was one. I forgot that one. So it's all geared around that. But the problem is you cannot do anything with that. So there is, you know, and listen, I always say to people, like, I get that is, you know, particularly Black people right now, we're pissed off. Like, we've reached our tolerance levels of just like, you know, the bucket is full. So we haven't even got time to, like, we can't even just pull ourselves back. So I completely get that we're pissed off. But just writing post after post after post after post after is not helpful, because the light and shade that you get from a conversation like we have is infinitely more valuable than somebody writing, you know, a nicely formatted something and going off you go. That's why I do videos. That's why I do videos and, no, you know, and just like, you know, off you go. Because the whole purpose, as you said, Leanne, you've got to get behind the curtain. And I think, Sabah, this is what you said the other day as well, is that unfortunately, in this country, and this is like one of the other unintended consequences, right? So we talked about quotas the other day. The unintended consequence of BAME, a word I dislike with every inch of my soul. Like, I just hate it, because what we've done is we've grouped everyone other together purely to be able to get it over the line for those businesses to sign, because it makes it easier to understand. So rather than, because nobody can be bothered to recognise, as you said, Leanne, the difference, you know, as you and I both know, the Black Caribbean culture and how, and some of the things that we have are historical references, is very different if you're Black and from West Africa. You know, it's very different if you're Black and from North Africa, if you're from South. Listen, we haven't even gone there. South Africa. Oh my God, if you're in apartheid, how can you? So there's so many, and it's not even subtle nuances, like blatant differences. They're not nuances, they are differences. And I think that is the unintended consequence of grouping all of this together, because what we've done is we've tried to package it in terms of, here are these other people, so let's group them together. Then we've tried to make it palatable, so we've put it under diversity and inclusion banner. And I understand why we try to do that, because we've tried all these different ways. We've tried the empathy thing, we've tried to push for compassion, we've tried to go for the moral argument. The moral argument got rejected because that wasn't enough to get businesses to do stuff. So then we've then gone, okay, like, what can we do? Let's put it in terms of pounds, shillings and pence, and that way we can get it over the line. Let's package all these non-white people into a group, BAME, and that will help make it really simple for the directors and for the business to understand, right? So we've done that, and then we thought, oh my God, look, we've got a little bit of a budget. They've hired a D&I person, you know, they've gone and been the saviour on the horse, and they've gone to the poor inner area of London and Peckham, and they've plucked some, you know, some Black people with potential, and they've put them into their business, and then they do the shareholders report, and they say, under our CSR thing, you know, we've gone out to people in socioeconomic groups, and we've made their lives better, and, you know, so we've kidded ourselves that all of this activity has led to, oh my God, has led to improvement. And then when those same people go, oh no, but, you know, we mean it, I feel like they ruin it by then turning to Black people, like the one poor, like, honestly, my heart just breaks for these poor, you know, because I've been there, I know exactly what it's like. And, you know, and imagine if you're the only Black person and you work in HR there as well, or imagine you're the only Black person and you're in diversity and inclusion. Listen,
yeah,
if there's anybody out there that's doing that role, oh my God, listen, my heart, listen, I would send you something. I don't know what to send you, like flowers, chocolate, vodka.
Just,
you know,
come talk to us. I'd like to offer just being able to support them, because it's such a lonely space to be in, and you have no one to count on. And I think, you know, this is the value of conversations like this, because when culture is not understood, when other people's culture is not understood as being equal to your own and as being as valuable as your own, because that's the power and privilege and sense of entitlement you've grown up with, seeing as other people as having benefited by you stepping in and saving them, as if they weren't capable of doing it on their own. When this is the hidden subtext, then this is why these kind of issues happen, because you don't realize that by not understanding them and grouping them in such simplistic ways, assuming that all people of color are the same and come with similar issues, even though there may be similarities on the issues, there's a difference in what each group struggles with. And you know, as Brexit and as the hate crimes having risen from 2016 till now have shown, that white minorities also have a space that's just not spoken of and talked about. You know, they're experiencing hate on a different level, which they're not able to cope with, because, oh look, the Polish migrants sound different. Oh look, Eastern Europeans sound different. You know, they may not get it firsthand as we might with skin color, but the moment they open their mouth, people know that they're different. And in certain places in the country, like where I have been, I have seen this happen firsthand. And so this, you know, it's a really unhelpful approach in grouping. And sadly, HR departments and leaders who come from backgrounds that are not diverse, who assume that because they have that one black friend, like you said, Leanne, or one brown or whatever friend, that they're not racist or they have no learning to do, they cause more damage.
Yeah.
You know, I had HR directors and HR people saying, "Oh, we did the race equality training, so we're not racist." You know,
we've done unconscious bias. We have unconscious bias training every year,
you know,
and you know,
we can't possibly be racist. How can you say you feel isolated by us, gaslight you, because you know your experience doesn't mean anything because we've been on the training? Like, it's a ridiculous argument.
Leanne, I'm coming to you because I know you want to say. Oh, Leanne's frozen, so we will carry on, Sabah. Me and you. It's just me and you. She's frozen. She's probably gonna have to. Are you back?
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah. You almost lost your moment to talk, girlfriend. You almost. I was like ready.
No, I know. No, I was just gonna add to that and say, imagine that you're that one black person putting together the policy as to what's gone wrong, or let's say you have an idea as to what you need. And it's something that we all have to underscore once again, that to be pro-black does not mean to be anti-white.
Oh.
So, and I'm going to say it again, to be pro-black does not mean to be anti-white. There is no direct competition between the two. The one is trying to adjust to come to the same level. It doesn't mean that we're trying to dim your light in order to shine. So when you're there trying to put your policy forward as to what would be pro-black, as to what would be pro-South Asian, Southeast Asian, as to what would be pro-ethnic minority, 99% of the people who you're presenting that to hear anti-white. So they've already checked out. Yeah. And this is why this already doesn't work. It already doesn't work, because as soon as they hear it, they say, but you're attacking me. But you're saying, I don't understand. You're saying I'm the problem.
Yeah.
No. This is not what I'm saying. I'm drawing a nice picture for you, and I'm saying, this is where you start. And this is what I need in order to be able to start at the same level as you. This doesn't mean I'm taking anything away from you. This doesn't mean I'm pushing you down. This means I need you to give me, if we're all going to start, let's take a bank account. If we're all going to start at the same place, we all need £100 in our bank account. Right now, I have minus 1,000. In order to get me to plus 100, you need to fill up my bank account. And then we're equal. In the meantime, you've lost no money. I've just become your equal. And until they get that this is an equality thing, that the policy that you're going to have is going to make you uncomfortable, it's going to mean that you're going to have to do work, but it fundamentally means you come at no loss.
But I do think though, I think a lot of this is driven by fear still. And I think also it's like the concept of scarcity, right? So the fear is, hold on a minute, because listen, I'm hearing this already when people are going, I thought we have to treat all people the same. Doesn't that go against our HR mantra? Doesn't that go against our thing? We have to treat all people the same. And I'm going, guess what? We ain't fucking treated the same. That's why we're here. That's why I'm venting my spleen every goddamn day. Don't come for me, people. But you know what I mean? I'm just like, what is wrong with people that they cannot understand fundamentally that as black people and minorities, but you know, I'm going to focus on black people, as black people, we are at a disadvantage just because of the colour of our skin, right? And what we are pushing against is, and to some extent, the people that get it, you know, there are lots of white people out there where the penny is dropping for them, right? So I'm actually not talking about them. I'm talking about the people who feel threatened, the people, the second, to your point, Leanne, the second that you want to divert some energy, time, resources, conversation to talking about black stuff, they're coming at it like you're attacking their grandmother. And oh my God, it's the drama. This is men and women. It's the drama of it all. Like, short from getting the smelling salts, I want to say to people, like, fix up. Understand what we're saying, you know. And this is not about, there should be room for everybody. As a business, you should create space. So for us as Black people to rise to the same place that you are, move aside, create more chairs around the boardroom, right? This is not a case of kick 4 people off, even though there probably are some people that need to go. But, you know, this is about make the table big enough so you have representation. And I keep saying to everybody, listen, I am well aware that there are underrepresented groups, there are social class issues in this country, there are all sorts. So, you know, my argument or our argument can be multiplied for everybody, but I will not move the conversation from Black people, because that's what happens. When you start bringing in everybody else who is underrepresented, what that does is everybody defaults and they move over here to this safe conversation over here. And then, as usual, Black people get forgotten, you know. So now what we're, to your point, Leanne, and what we're saying is that this is about readdressing that balance.
That's better.